Hey and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for Cobra Kai Season 5. All 10 episodes I've seen, gonna be talking about them non-spoilers. So I'm guessing that if you haven't been invested so far, you're probably still going to be watching this. But you might be one of those that is getting a little bit tired of this series and you're like, should I be invested in this series any longer? I'm not quite sure where it's going. This is for you and for those that love the series to get you hyped, excited. Let me know in the comments below, which team are you on? Are you our Eagle Fang, Cobra Kai, or Miyagi-Do? Let's jump in. Following the shocking results of the All Valley tournament, Season 5 finds Terry Silver expanding the Cobra Kai empire and trying to make his no mercy style of karate the only game in town. With Kreese behind bars and Johnny Lawrence setting karate aside to focus on repairing the damage he's caused, Daniel LaRusso must call on an old friend. Right from the outset, the beginning episode takes on a different tact for this season that I wasn't expecting. I think that's going to work in its favor. It's spending a lot of time on character development, not at the expense of drama, but when there is drama, it's because of the character development. That's probably the thing I liked most about this season. With it being Season 5, you're probably going to guess what's going to happen, what the formula is. It's very similar. So although it changes its tactic by following a lot more of the characters, giving us something to work with in the characters and liking them more, fleshing out those characters that we've come to know and love already, but we see more of the backstories, not like backstories like the flashbacks, but more of what's gone on and the repercussions of the previous 4 seasons. And I appreciate that. Sam particularly has an interesting arc. She's kind of fighting with her demons in this season, and I feel like she's not just all about the boys this season, or not just all about karate, but really trying to figure out who she is. Miguel has a family journey to go on. Again, they're all kind of discovering who they are and they need to sort out their past to become the best version of themselves. And that often means coming to terms with things that have happened in the past. And that kind of messes over into some of the other characters. It influences them. But like the previous 4 seasons, when we get all these kind of tangent storylines that it tends to go on, everything wraps up in a big climactic fashion. And you can guess how that's going to be. It's normally in the previous seasons, it's either a tournament fighting style or somebody's fighting at in someone's houses. Thankfully, in this season, we shake it up a little bit, but we kind of get all of those fighting sequences that you expect. There's a tournament sort of thing, which I'm not going to spoil for you. It's not actually a tournament, but you're going to get fighting moments because obviously it's in its heart, it's about fighting. You know, it's coming from the heart of Karate Kid. But we also get those moments where the adults have to interact with each other, and that never goes well. For me, some of the adults maybe need to have more stunt doubles. I've noticed in the previous couple of seasons that they're just looking not quite right or as good or as sharp as they need to be. And that came to a head when there was one particular adult fight, and I'm not saying who it is, but they come up against a different type of martial artist, UFC fighter, and how that went, I just was totally unbelievable. That's one part of the negativity. So putting that aside, I think the fights themselves are pretty good, and I think the youngsters are always better than the adults so far in this series. You know, pulling your punches, doing those roundhouses that are quite low. If you've ever done any martial arts, you will notice some things that are just not quite right, especially with the adults. But when it comes down to the choreography with the youngsters, the elder teen group, let's say the new group, the new age, which a lot of the series focuses on, and that's too right. That's about this new generation. Miyagi is teaching everybody. They do well, and the stars of the shows are still the star of the show this time round. Those that fight really well, that are choreographed well together, is where the camera focuses on. The writing can be cheesy, and I know a lot of people have said why they're making it so cheesy and cringe. But if you think about the Karate Kid, the original movies, those were cheesy, classic 80s movies that still had some cheese and drama in them. And what they've done is they've taken the drama, brought it into a new age, and brought some of that cheese. And I felt the cheese specifically in this season more so than others, with a certain character chosen. I loved his character in this, but there were moments I was just like, that's kind of a cheesy line, all the way he's kind of showcasing his character. I loved him in this season, and I don't mind the cheese, but I do think some people are going to be like, When it comes to the bad guys, there are obviously some new players, not just the one that we know that is there, but there's some other characters that come along and show their faces, and they show caricatures of evil bad guys because they're evil bad guys. There is no backstory to these new people apart from a few kind of lines, but that's it. There's no moments to let those characters become more. They're just there for the fighting sequences and the I'm bad for the sake of being bad. I did feel like they ripped off a couple of scripts from other films or TV series, like Star Wars. I giggled and laughed, but I think that's again something, if people are nitpicking, there's going to be something of like they've directly taken that from that particular movie. I didn't mind it particularly, but there are moments that I think people are like, write your own things, don't just nick from others. I think because this is a nostalgic series, they have some leniency. They're allowed to go certain ways and, you know, pull in that nostalgia. I didn't mind that so much. So on the positives, I think what I liked is they kept to the style that they were going for with the music and the score and the way the fight sequences are filmed. When they build up the hype, you can feel the tempo building within the music and how they are shooting it, which is always fun. I like the nostalgia that they bring in this. It works quite well. I don't mind the drama so much because they're building on those backstories. There is a lot of redemption arcs this time around for characters that have needed redemption arcs for a while. One in particular that I was rooting for. For me, there is an opening that just kind of rocked. I loved every moment of it. And again, some people can say, well, that's cheesy and you're totally copying. And I think they know that. But episode 4's opening, look out for that. I think some will love it, some will hate it. And for me, I think there is a decent story here. There is a really bad guy in Silver. He is mean, he is nasty, he manipulates everyone around him. And everyone thinks he is the kind of the good guy. He puts on a good front and has all these pieces moving, and he's got a bigger plan that you think you know about, but there's a lot going on underneath. He is that guy that we love to hate, and I think he plays that part really well. Because they've got 10 episodes and they're all around 37 minutes long or just over, they have some time to play with characters going over to the dark side and coming back to the light side, and some changes are going to happen in the group dynamics that happens every season, and we still don't even know like who is the correct dojo good guys now, because at the beginning it was Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do, and it was Eagle Fang versus the two, and now we kind of have a mix mash. I can say I don't think this is the last season with how the story kind of ends. There is a completion to the arc and you'll feel satisfied if they get cancelled and it never comes back again. At the end of season 4, a lot of the characters were going, karate has brought me nothing but pain. That ranges from the teens to the adults. So the theme they explore here is actually, is it worth me still doing that? And they come across that, does karate bring joy? Is it good, or is it karate that is bad? And they explore a little bit of that, and I think they work that nicely into the series. I had a thoroughly good time once again with this season. I don't think it's the best season. They can just dive more into deeper storylines, nostalgia, cheesy characters, kind of people cropping up that you weren't expecting to see, some surprises, of course they do that every season now, and some really fun choreographed action sequences. Like I said, if you've been on board from the beginning, you're going to be on board for this season and pretty hyped for it. I liked it. I'm going to give it a solid 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
There ain't no iguana. Yeah, there are.
Let me know how you would rank the 5 seasons once you've seen them all. I love the original because the first 2 seasons, I believe, were on YouTube as originals, and they just felt like something unique and different, and then Netflix bought them. Not saying they got them worse, but for me, I would go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that sequence, as from the best being 1 and 5 being the worst. That's not saying I don't like 5, I just like them in that order. It's like saying, you know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, best trilogy, but which movie is the worst? So give me your rankings down below, and who is your favorite character so far? I know it's hard to choose one. Let's give you one adult or one teen. Who's your favorite character? Thanks so much for watching. Here is another couple of reviews for you to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and like and all that malarkey. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.